Hi guys, Ancient Warrior here, and welcome back to Prepping USA. It's turnabout fair play. You know, I just did a video here a couple of days ago about is turnabout fair. Let's go into it a little deeper. Right now, the Democrats are all whining and squalling that Mr. Trump has created a horrendous situation in the United States after Mr. Cesar Sayoc, from the Miami area, sent, at last count now, it's either between 12 and 14 or it's 12. I'm not sure which because I keep seeing different numbers. To various people from the Democrat Party. You notice I didn't call it Democratic, it's the Democrat Party. There's nothing democratic about those folks. You notice Nancy Pelosi's name wasn't on that list? Wonder why. And then, well, the governor of New York, but we'll talk about him in another video. And his bomb that he got. But let's talk about this, folks. The president has now come out 3 different times this week and stated that violence against a political group should not be tolerated, will not be tolerated, cannot be tolerated in the United States of America. You know, that's what the banana republics do. That's what they do in the Middle East. You know, you don't like Sadat Abraham in Egypt, so all of Abraham Arabi's people go and start killing the opposition of Sadat's. This is the way it's done in the Middle Eastern nations. It's not the way it's done in America. At this point, the Democrats, you notice I called them Democrats, there's nothing bright about these people, have apparently a memory the size of a grain of sand, because they seem to have forgotten that it was a Bernie Sanders supporter who went out with a high-powered rifle and shot up the baseball field in Washington, D.C., wounding Steve Scalise, 2 police officers, and various other members. But they're wanting all this blame on Donald J. for these bombs that didn't go off. And it depends on which news organization and which locale talks. Boston, New York, both said those bombs couldn't go off, and if they did, they would have been destructive, but they weren't designed to. Now, if you listen to LA and Miami, you know, they're both saying, you know, highly destructive equipment. But let's point this out. Sayok might have been a lifelong Republican, but he was nuttier than a fruitcake. You know, nutty people do nutty things. He should have been getting medication. I saw somewhere where they said he was schizophrenic. Well, if he was schizophrenic, that means he was probably hearing voices. And he probably listened to the voices just long enough to get himself in good and deep trouble. Should he be jailed? Yes. Should he spend 58 years in jail? The guy's 56 years old, 57. No. Should he see some jail time? You betcha. But I think his jail time needs to be done in a psychiatric pavilion to where he gets medication, counseling, to help him live among the rest of us as civilized human beings. Now, the guy who shot up Steve Scalise and those guys, he died at the scene, if I remember the story right. But the Democrats said, oh, this wasn't our fault, this wasn't our fault. But yet now they blame Mr. Trump for all this. The partisan politicking that's going on right now is ridiculous. Needs to come to an end. We need to be Americans first, Republicans and Democrats second. You know, it used to be in this country we could disagree on political issues, but the minute the election and stuff was over, excuse me, that came to a screeching halt. We can no longer afford to be divided. So, folks, if you're one of those that doesn't like somebody because they're a Democrat, my mother's one of these people. She doesn't think people who are Democrats are very bright. But she's 81 years old, too. If you're one of these people that look at these young people in their weird clothes and their weird relationships, look past that. See them as Americans. If they're new citizens, look past where they came from. They're Americans. And if you are an immigrant coming to this country, look at your old flag, be very polite, honoring to your flag, fold it up, put it in a box in your closet, and fly the American flag. Fly the Stars and Stripes. Because that's the flag giving you what you got right now. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, have a good week. Have a blessed day. And remember, if you're prepping, You have food in the house, food, water, and bandages in the house, then you live in free America. But if you don't, folks, there'll be somebody at the FEMA camp with a sign saying, "Welcome to FEMA Camp XYZ." Have a good day.